So do you want to protect the West or not? Do you want to have this conversation?
Oh, yes, sure. I want to protect the West.
Because you can see that deporting me is stupid. I'm exercising my First Amendment rights. I'm practicing freedom of religion, and I'm not declaring war. You're the one declaring a cultural war, whatever. I don't want war. I'm against it. So you want to protect the West. What is the number one issue? Who is dragging us into these wars that destroy the West, Alex?
Israel and
there you go.
Jewish charities.
What propaganda do they use to get Americans to support?
They say that
left versus right, Alex. He's trying to get you to left versus right. The Muslims are the bad guys. That's what he's trying to get you to. Jesus, they're the bad guy in every movie. Who makes the movie? Go figure it out.
Iran wants to destroy them, so they've got to do that. Well, they blamed Iraq with WMDs, which was a lie. They on the Project for the American Century from April 2000, cooked up by Netanyahu and neocons in the Bush administration before they got in.
Bingo. Was
to stage a 9/11 attack that would, quote, kill 3,000 people as a pretext to take down 7 Muslim nations and establish a greater Israel. For a Pax Americana, Iran would be the final country to fall. Wesley Clark also exposed that, and I exposed it back at the time.
Bingo. So essentially, they demonize Muslims, and they say radical Islamic terrorists. They use words like jihadist, the one you're saying right now. They demonize Muslims to justify war and say that there's a war on terror that needs to happen, and Muslims are blowing things up. You were one of the first people to expose that 9/11 was a lie. Clearly, you know that there's an overwhelming amount of propaganda towards Muslims that justify war. So why then go and repeat that exact propaganda that drags us into these endless wars that destroy the West that you love so much?
All right, let me answer your question. It's a false equivalent. Islam is expansionist. We need to control the immigration from the countries. We need to not incentivize and let jihadis run around and let all this foreign money out of.
You're not answering the question.
Let me finish. $20-something billion a year out of Qatar and all the rest of it. I'm against the Israeli money, the Qatari money, the Chinese money, the EU money, the globalist money, the Rothschild money, the BlackRock money, all of this stuff coming in and controlling us. Islam is one of the things, one of the heads on the hydra that I cover. So let me finish. Israel sits there and twists what Iran does. Some of it's true. Iran is 90 million people. They're horizontally set up. They're not going to fall. It's going to destroy the economy. It's a trap for the midterms. It's for Israeli expansion. And so I'm against that, and I was against attacking Iran, and I was against Midnight Hammer, and I said this would get us into a full war. So just because Israel uses that, their own false equivalent, to say, support us, we're fighting Islam, when really they stir up Islam. They founded Hamas. Netanyahu doubled their payments. He ordered the stand down October 7th. Now he's using what's left of Hamas to not let them set up a legitimate government. Israel's admitted 20 years ago in the news that, we put Hamas in so the Muslims would be violent so that we'd have a pretext to destroy them. Now Turkey and Israel overthrew 2+ years ago Syria. They put the leader of Al-Qaeda in charge. I'm totally against that. It's disgusting. Operation Ajax, the CIA and British intelligence overthrew Mohammed Mossadegh, who was pro-Western in Iran. They then worked with the Ayatollahs to actually help them come to power. They did the Iran-Contra deal with them. And so expansionist Islam.
I do feel bad for Alex, and the reason he can't answer this question, and he's having to do this TPUSA answer where you just talk until people fall asleep. The reason for that is because Alex is a victim of his own success. He's gotten so big, like he's the name in conspiracy theories, right? So he has to kind of belly up with guys like Elon Musk and big names like that. Even though he is against the big tech censorship and all these different things, it's very difficult. He's in a bad spot. That's why I don't want to get too big. I don't even use my real name. Like, I'm not going to get famous. I understand that, and I don't want that. So I understand this, because that's what happens when you get too big, when you're just too mainstream, that you have to kind of make alliances with these people that do things you disagree with. And that's why he's having a hard time answering this question. You know why.
At its highest levels, is it controlled by the West, but works with them, and is just as Machiavelli, just like Jimmy Carter helped set up.
Okay. You're going on tangents. So
No. I'm saying Israel works with Orthodox Islam, and they all double deal.
Israel is allied with Orthodox Islam.
You know, Israel founded Hamas, right?
Yes. Netanyahu gave him $35 million. They created Hezbollah too. They create Hezbollah too. They create the terrorist groups that they demonize so much.
Qatar made Netanyahu 2 years before.
It's like Alex isn't understanding. Yes, they did create Hamas and Hezbollah. And then they made them all into terrorists, and now they're trying to fight them. So now they have someone they can be villainized by. They needed a villain. That's why they made them. They created the villain so they could make them the bad guy, and no one will notice the shit they're doing to America. No one will notice. Except me. I noticed.
Before October 7th, sign an agreement and admit he was giving them money, but he wanted to hide it to give to Hamas to carry out what they did. And they thought they had a deal with him.
Let's stay on track. So the major issue, because you brought up the Rothschilds, BlackRock, Netanyahu, Israel takes the majority of our tax dollars to bring us into endless wars, correct? Let's be simple.
I've said this. Israel currently is the most dangerous, dominant group.
Bingo.
Okay, there we go.
With Section 224 of the NDAA, Defense Authorization Act, that says dozens of times, integrate, merge, lifetime feeds, marry the U.S. military. That's been Netanyahu and his surrogates. Mark Levin, all of them, marry, and the U.S. ambassador, or the Israeli ambassador to the U.S., really what he is, Mike Huckabee, we're going to take the whole Middle East. Israel's going to take over. We'd rather live in the Middle East. We owe everything to Israel. Yeah, it's a cult.
Okay.
They, right now, to secure control of our foreign policy, are openly primarying everybody like Massey and now saying, we're the masters of the universe, that's a quote, and we're going to run you and we're going to control you. And
Right.
Netanyahu 2 years ago proposed,
Muslims own New York. Israel owns everywhere else in America. That's what Alex is not understanding here. Israel is the bigger issue. So I understand Sneako's point here. Stop just going after people because they're Muslim. Go after the big picture, the big villain, the big bad, right? We got the end boss here. We don't need to mess with them. We'll get them later. They have no money. We got to go for these rich people who are taking over our Congress and presidency.
shipping the Gazans to Europe and the U.S.
Right, right.
So yeah, we destroy their
Right.
countries and then ship a bunch of pissed off Muslims over.
Right,
Right.
Endless
Nobody
wars.
said Muslims aren't victims of Israel. Nobody.
You're
I'm
against
not
the
saying
Gaza
that.
genocide because some people are now saying that they don't care and that they want Americans to be kicking butt and committing the genocide. You're against the Gaza genocide?
No, I don't. No. When
No?
I say a new crusade, I mean cultural, not putting up with Islamic expansion, shutting down the immigration.
Okay.
I do not believe in genociding Muslims because most Muslims are not even bad people and are very nice people. It is the jihadis, as the
What
UAE
is
has
jihad-
pointed
what do you
out,
keep saying- what is
that
jihad-
are
what-
coming into the West.
Okay, there's a lot of things. I'm trying to stay on track. What does jihad mean, Alex?
Jihad means following God's orders and carrying out the holy war. There's
No.
family, there's political, there's charity,
No.
and there's military.
No, it doesn't. Jihad means the struggle of faith.
No,
Smiling.
and the struggle of
To be fair to Alex, I don't want to learn any of this bullshit either. Like, keep that in your country. I don't fucking need to know that. So I'm not going to learn a lot of fucking Muslim history and all these words either because I don't want to. I just don't want to. I don't want to know every fucking person in the Middle East who's been offended. Like, a woman who died because she showed her hair or whatever. I don't care about all this shit. I care about America. So I don't want to learn that shit.
faith is the types of jihads. You're playing
Okay,
games.
do you want to see jihad right now, Alex? Smiling. Struggle of faith, doing what's right, doing what God wants you to do is jihad. Not watching porn, being a good person. This is all jihad. They take these words and they misconstrue them to confuse people and get them afraid of Muslims to justify their wars. If you don't want the West to be destroyed, then don't echo their propaganda. You understand if you,
Sneako,
Alex, 1 second, you went on for a long time.
Sneako,
Alex, hold on.
Muhammad was dead, they'd taken over with Saudi Arabia.
Alex, hold on a
100 years
second.
later, they had most of the Middle East and parts of Africa.
Sneako should take him up on that 3-minute thing since Alex is the one who can't stop interrupting now. Because that was what Alex's issue was in the beginning, that you want to do 3 minutes or do you want to keep interrupting? He should say that now. And that would probably stop Alex from doing this.
And expanded all over the place.
Okay, let's take.
Launched the war. You started the fight. You started the fight 1,400 years ago,
Okay,
pal.
a crusade. Alex, let's stay on point. Okay, the Iraq War was a mistake,
I don't think Sneako was around back then.
correct? Weapons of mass destruction, they didn't exist, right?
Yeah, and that was to take out a former CIA operative who'd actually been put in there and launched the
You don't just need to
Iran-Iraq
like
war.
repeat stuff you memorized. Weapons of mass destruction,
No,
that was the
no,
pretext
no,
of the
no.
Iraq War. They were not
Yeah,
found.
that was wrong. I didn't say Israel and the globalists are going and blowing up the Muslims and attacking them, and then you having the Jewish and Catholic charities ship them all in here pissed off so then they can have shirt off.
It's funny that Alex sees the Muslims as the victims of Israel, but he doesn't see them as the victims of America when it's our bombs from Israel and us that are being dropped on their children. I think that we're kind of making them our enemy. And Alex is seeing this as different. He just sees it as Israel doing that, even though we're doing that.
Put naked body scanners in and grab our kids' testicles and vaginas at the airport.
To be fair, I kind of like the testicle grabbing at the airport.
Are you good?
Yeah. Are you good? Are you chimping out?
You okay?
Oh, you just got slogans, man. I am pissed off. They brought in a bunch of radical, pissed off Muslims to create a crisis so they can take our liberties and freedoms and bring in all the Palantir surveillance. I understand the Hegelian dialectic of problem, reaction, solution.
Okay. We need to establish some things if we want to have a conversation. What is the
You
Muslim?
establish the rules of the game.
The Muslim population in America is 1.3%. Only 8% of the immigrants are Muslim. It's predominantly coming in from Catholics, from Mexico, Hindus from India, and the Chinese. Elon Musk, the guy that's amplifying you, is behind this. He banned a lot of people for opposing his H-1B visas. His team is predominantly comprised of Indians through H-1B visas. They made it clear, and Trump just said, that he wants to go to war to defend India. They're okay with immigration. They're not anti-immigration. They only pretend to be by demonizing Muslims. The Iraq War, you said this was all a lie. There were no weapons of mass destruction. George Bush said war on terror, war on terror. Turns out there were no weapons of mass destruction.
Mission accomplished. All
This
that,
war was a lie. What? And you're much older than me. Throughout the entire 2000s, what were they saying? Radical Islamists, jihadists, terrorists, they're taking over. But if you look at the country, nobody's trying to bring Sharia law. You couldn't name anybody.
So here's the thing. You're
Muslims, let me
lecturing
finish.
me.
Muslims are 1.3% of the population. The war on terror, that was a complete farce. Netanyahu himself said that he was one of the pioneers of the word terrorist. If I say the word terrorist, people know what that is. They know what it looks like. They don't know the definition. Just like the word jihad, which you don't know the definition of.
Yes, I did.
So, no, you didn't know what the definition of jihad was.
I'm lying.
So don't repeat the exact
That's the forms
propaganda.
of practicing Islam.
If you want to
listen to the groups.
If you want
I listen to them.
Alex, if you want to protect
You
your
even said I didn't know what God's will was. Listen, let me make my point here.
you've made a lot of points. Let me finish real quick and then you can go. Is that fair? You've talked most of the time. If you want to stop the endless wars, if you want to protect your demographic, if you care about Christian values, then looking at the Muslims who are 1.3% of the population in America, when we believe Jesus is the Messiah, we believe in the Immaculate Conception, we believe in the Virgin Mary, we believe that Jesus will return. Maybe focusing an energy and saying that you're going to declare a culture war on Muslims is a distraction. Maybe that's not helping the cause. Maybe saying, oh my God, they're trying to take over when there's not a sort of mass immigration coming from Muslims at all. This is helping the Israelis that are destroying the West and not actually helping you. If you want to protect your demographics, then stop repeating what they want you to say. Don't say jihadist and don't call me a terrorist. Call for my deportation when I'm exercising my free speech rights. You are playing into their hand. And if you want to talk about the immigration in Europe, why do all these immigrants go into the UK? They come in predominantly from Syria, from Afghanistan, from Iraq.
Yeah, I know they're refugees.
These are refugees that are the result of these endless wars that the Israelis create. And the propaganda that they feed good Americans and brainwash us with is that radical Muslims are taking over.
No,
so
let me-
don't
let
play
me-
into
let
their
me get in
hand and
here.
repeat
Let me
these.
get in there.
Don't repeat and echo these fear-mongering lies that only help them out and destroy your demographic. If you care about Americans, you care about whites, and you care about Christians.
All right, you repeated that 8 times. Why'd you say in that viral video that we're going to, the cities are all going to be like this if God wills it? Because the Muslims vote as a bloc, and you've got Europe on average is about 8% Muslim now in many of the areas. In the cities, 20, 30, 40%. It's the dominant group now in the voting bloc. Why do we have Sadiq Khan in London? Why do we have Mondami in
You're asking
New
me
York?
a lot of questions. You want me to answer?
No. I'm stating, no. The Muslims are the swing vote, and they know that with the Democrat Socialists to be able to dominate. And I can play you thousands of imams in Dearborn, Michigan, and Houston, Texas, and everywhere else in Plano, Texas, saying we're taking over. And everybody sees those videos, buddy. Just like when you said we're taking over, and now you're in the, I'm a victim. Come
I didn't
on.
say.
Almost like we need a strong conservative president that would actually get them all out of here, right? Too bad we don't have that, huh? Huh.
You're being mean to us.
I didn't say that.
You have been a victim of the neocons in Israel, okay? And that's
Yeah,
wrong.
and
I don't
of
wanna
Elon
slaughter-
Musk, the globalist that you're outlining with, who's bringing in H-1Bs, he's the richest man in the
Listen,
world.
I like the
the
fact that he's
trillionaire.
pro-free speech. I don't agree with everything that Elon Musk does.
You don't want free speech if you want me deported for using my free speech. Actually, you're against
Listen,
it.
you go back
It
to
sounds
that.
like you were demonizing Black Lives Matter. You kind of sound like a
And
woke
also
liberal.
said that I want to
You kind of sound like a woke liberal with the
I'll demonize Black Lives Matter too. Fuck that shit. You don't get to riot. Get the fuck out of here.
woke mind virus if you want me deported for using my free speech.
I responded to that. that.
Yeah,
told
because
you
you're
was
actually
rhetorical.
using the strongest form of censorship if now the richest man in the world is saying that I should be deported for free speech, especially when he's an African migrant. So if you actually want to protect it,
Listen,
that
what
doesn't
we're
seem to...
saying is,
If you ask me a question, why did I say this? Why you asked me a question, why did I say that?
Dude, we know your plan.
You asked me a
We've got
question.
your Quran, and I'm telling you, you're going to lose. Okay?
You asked me a question. No one here, this is the psyop. This is what they plan to do, is pin the Christians and Muslims against each other so that they can repeat their endless wars. It worked before. Don't let it work again, Alex. If you're opposing the Iran war.
I'm not supporting Israel and going to war for them.
No, you are supporting Israel. You are supporting Israel.
I'm not with you and the Democrat, Socialist, and Black Lives Matter that you supported and all the stuff that went on in this
country. You're the woke
country.
liberal trying to get me censored. If you said,
no, I've seen you say we were going to be violent.
I saw you say that they're crisis actors in Sandy Hook, and look what happened. If you want to do ad hom, so let's stay on point.
Oh my God, Sandy Hook! Oh God, let's
stay on.
I did not think I would be hearing Alex Jones is the woke liberal.
Boy, let's stay on point. I went home from school that day, actually, because you're talking about my childhood. You said, why did I say...
Did I hurt you as a little baby?
You said, why did I say, if God wills
Am I a bad man? I hurt you?
Okay, Alex.
Did I do something to your poopy?
Well, no, you got the trillionaire to try to put a target in my head. So, yeah, well done.
Oh, my
goodness.
Done.
Well
You're
done.
Just showing your teeth,
well done.
Throat slitting. And
well, they don't cry about white genocide. Don't cry about...
No, I'm your friend. Hey, the Quran isn't a battle manual to take over. Come on, there's no imam saying that.
I don't want to hear you cry about your demographic replacement. Oh, no, America's getting destroyed. Oh, no, the globalists are taking over. Oh, no, America's getting replaced.
It's our world right to dominate the planet. No.
Oh, no, the West is getting taken over. Oh, no, there's immigrants here. Oh, no, immigrants are here from the wars that I caused.
Over Spain for 700 years.
Immigrants come in from the wars I caused.
In Hollywood allied with you. Oh, the Crusades just attacked the poor little Muslims.
I didn't say any of that. You're arguing with your own head, Alex. You're going delusional.
I said Hollywood does that. I just said Hollywood does that. I didn't say
you said Chi-Coms control Hollywood. Didn't you say the Chi-Coms control Hollywood and not Jewish supremacists?
No, what I said in the full clip was I read a Wall Street Journal article about how China, was it like the 10 biggest Hollywood production companies, had bought a controlling interest in 6, and China admits they're funding a lot of the anti-Western, anti-white propaganda. China is heavily allied with Hollywood, and they're anti-American.
China's allied with Hollywood.
No, that's actually true. China did buy a bunch of studios, it was like 10 years ago, but they have been inserting their propaganda in there too. They're in bed with Israel as well. Don't think they're not.
This is why the demographics are changing.
Not involved in the university.
This is why the West is getting replaced.
Involved in Hollywood. China doesn't control and own big parts of Hollywood. Yeah. Alex Jones is China doesn't. Are you kidding me?
The Chinese. I mean, this is why the West is changing, because when you spread these lies that the Chinese control the Hollywood.
Why did John Cena have to apologize to China for insinuating that Taiwan has sovereignty? Like, he had to go and apologize to the Chinese people. China does own some shit in Hollywood. I'll admit that. Maybe that's why I got my strike, because I should have said that those people and Chinese own it. Maybe, I don't know.
Hollywood, people get confused, and you mix the truth with lies.
Sneako.
You say some things that are true and say 10 lies.
That's an old white supremacist attack on me that I cover China. I mean, look at brain dead Mitch McConnell and his wife flees to China, who's a known Chi-Com agent. And you look at Fang and Swallowswell and all the Chinese spies.
You're going on tangents again.
Are you saying China, geopolitically, is not our main military adversary? It is not the main spy force?
I didn't say that. I said China does not predominantly control Hollywood. I didn't say anything about...
I'm going to say this very slowly to you.
You said two separate things.
I'm going to say this very slowly. Wall Street Journal, like 15 years ago, did an article about how China bought a controlling interest of 6 of the 10 top Hollywood production companies. I didn't say they were the producers. I didn't say that they were the directors. That's mainly Jews. And I said that in the full show.
So
just like I did an hour on atrazine with scientific studies and clips, and then said, I don't want them putting chemicals in the water, turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Just so I don't get my strike, I do not agree that most of the producers and directors are Jewish. I disagree until I'm off probation.
Media only showed that 10-second clip, not me showing all the studies. And of course, I was proven right.
Yeah, kind of like you when you clip up everything and try to make me sound...
Are you saying China does not have a controlling interest, I don't know what it is now, in a lot of U.S. media?
Of course, but it's predominantly Jewish supremacists, and you're messing up the conversation by redirecting it
I
towards
constantly
Chinese.
talk about the anti-Western, anti-white, anti-Christian
If you
stuff
want
in
to
Hollywood.
protect this country, then talk about the main issue, Alex. Don't just get it twisted with a bunch of
You're
nonsense.
doing like
I disagree with that too. You can talk about the fringe issues as well, but you got to kind of reason that with like how they conflict with each other. But I understand both their sides on this.
Dan Bilzerian did, saying Nick Fuentes doesn't go on Piers Morgan and big shows talk about Israel when he does. That's just not true. That's this thing of I talk more about Israel than you do. No, I just talk about all the major power blocks in the world. That's what I do.
And you're confusing
China-
people when you say globalist Chi-coms.
Anybody
It's
watching
like,
can type in Chinese interest in Hollywood production companies, China funding anti-American stuff, China taking over U.S. universities via the Confucius Institutes. That's a whole other subject. China putting kill switches in U.S. computers.
It's a whole other subject. Let's stick to the main subject that's destroying our country.
You created a straw man that I said China controls Hollywood. I said
I didn't say it's straw man. I said that you're
Hollywood.
confusing the conversation. You're just making people focus on things that are not extremely important. The most important issue.
No, I didn't bring up China in this conversation. You just did.
You brought up a million things in 5 seconds because you don't want to stick to one topic because you just want to misdirect the
you're
entire
not
time.
controlling the debate is what's happening here.
Well, the debate is about you calling for my deportation. The debate is about you.
Looks like Johnny Walker's controlling this debate.
You called for my
Israel
deportation.
worked with Hitler. The Zionists worked with Hitler to not let any Jews get out that wouldn't give them part of the money. The Zionists and give the rest to Hitler. Madeleine Albright's dad was one of the main guys that ran it. George Soros was a low-level guy that went around finding hidden Jews to get their money. And they worked with Hitler to only let Jews get out to what was going to become Israel. Israel hired top SS officers to set up the Mossad, and they hired top Nazi assassins to set up the Mossad, and they never really hunted down Nazis, just like the U.S. government shipped them over here. And then Israel blew up synagogues all over Spain and all over the Middle East to blame it on Muslims to then get Jews to immigrate to Israel. And Israel founded and created Hamas. And Israel works with Al-Qaeda and gave them field hospitals. And so see, that what I'm saying is secretly behind the evil scenes, you've got Islam working with Israel in a big sick plan.
Islam's working with Israel?
Yeah, not Iran. But
Islam's working
definitely
with Israel.
He's talking about Hamas and Hezbollah. He's not talking about like the people they're murdering. I think he's talking about the people who are helping them orchestrate that murder. I don't think Sneako's getting that.
Definitely Saudi Arabia.
I'm not trying to get a clip. Are you saying Islam
Definitely UAE. Yeah, you didn't know
Islam
that?
works with Israel? The UAE is not representative of Islam. The UAE is not the caliphate.
Did Israel back Al-Qaeda in Syria?
How did Israel create Hezbollah and Hamas if they're not working with them? Like apparently you already admitted the premise here is true. Like you've already kind of conceded that.
Islam is not working with Israel. Islam is a religion. The people make mistakes. The leadership has clearly betrayed the Ummah. We agree. We know. But don't misconstrue it and say that these are the people that are taking, this is the government of Islam when they don't follow Sharia law. The UAE, they have casinos in Dubai.
Sharia is the governance of Islam. You said I was wrong. You just said it yourself.
The UAE.
Hamas is Islamic. So Alex was technically right on this, but I think they're misunderstanding the concepts of what they're talking about. Alex is talking about Hamas and Hezbollah being Islamic, and he's thinking about it as Iran's Islamic. That's where the miscommunication's at.
Is the governance of Islam?
No, I just said Sharia.
Syria?
Sneaky.
Sharia is the...
I know you think you're
what government are you... Okay, so you're afraid of Sharia law. What government is practicing Sharia law that's threatening America?
I said that's the